Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I've got a rather positive piece to share with you. It's from ambcrypto.com titled Ripple and XRP's Popularity Gains Momentum in Land of the Rising Sun. We're going to talk a little bit about Ripple and XRP here. I've also got a piece I'll share with you towards the end of the video, also from AMB Crypto, titled Backed Futures Warehouse with $125 million insurance policy goes live after years of anticipation. Now, before we get going, if you would please delicately tap that like button. And if you're a fan of Ripple and XRP, well, thank you very much for stopping by. Happy to have you here. Go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. It's good for you. Ripple has continued to make waves in Japan, and its strategic collaboration with Japanese financial giant SBI Holding has been an important catalyst for the growing popularity of the firm in the country. According to the Hiroyuki Mihara, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, the CEO of BitBank, one of the largest crypto exchanges in Japan, Ripple's relationships with Japanese firms could be the reason behind increasing popularity of Ripple and XRP. The COO, in a recent interview with Block In Press, said, quote, Ripple has good relationships with many companies, including SBI Holdings of Japan. Of course, we have good relationships not only with Japanese companies, but also with the whole world. That's why Japanese people see it as a reliable cryptocurrency, which seems to be the biggest reason because of the perception that it is easy to use through these relationships. And I must say, Japan in general is quite forward-thinking when it comes to cryptocurrencies, at least if you want to compare them to a country like the United States, which it's so funny to think when you can compare crypto with the advent of the internet, especially, think mid to late 90s. The United States really paved the way, and from a regulatory perspective, there was certainly a lot to figure out. It seems obvious now. I guess we have the benefit of hindsight, though, but there are all sorts of regulatory questions that need to be figured out, and there were people that legitimately thought, and thank God they didn't win, but they thought that the internet should just kind of be not allowed, essentially. Same type of stuff we're talking about with cryptocurrency, and that's why if you could fast forward 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it is, and be like, no, see, crypto needed to stay. It was actually very good for economies that embraced it. It'll be obvious at some point, and we'll see how everything kind of plays out, but wasn't always so easy to figure out, and that's why I always think it's reasonable and makes sense to draw these parallels between the advent of the internet and the adoption of cryptocurrencies at large. But the financial implications, given that we are talking about assets that actually have value, from an economic standpoint, it stands to, I think, dwarf the economic impact that we had from the rise of the internet, and that was massive, absolutely. That was fundamentally life-changing anyway. The piece continues. However, what might affect XRP trade volume in the country is Ripple's decision to pull back from providing XRP over-the-counter at scale toward the end of the second quarter. In light of the OTC desk's ability to source institutional demand for XRP in the open markets. OTC trading has been very popular among the crypto traders in the country. Addressing the same, Mihara stated, quote, OTC is the most popular in the Japanese market. I think this is something special for the Japanese market. I know that sell and buy order books like Binance order books are popular in Korea. But in Japan, OTC order books are the most popular, so they are different. And the piece continues. The country has been extremely bullish on cryptocurrency in general. Besides, the governor of Tokyo, Yuriko Koike, yeah, I'm absolutely butchering that. Sorry, Yuriko Koike. Steve, your name is Steve. I can pronounce that. Anyway, so the governor of Tokyo, Steve, revealed plans to launch Tokyo's native digital currency based on the proof of concept, POC, protocol. Recently, Deputy Prime Minister of Japan and Minister of Finance, Taro Aso, there's no way. That can't be right. Who was also the keynote speaker at the FinSum FinTech conference in Tokyo, spoke in an affirmation regarding the need to adopt emerging tech while addressing crypto. Another catalyzing factor that led to XRP gaining traction in the country may be the petition to make XRP the official cryptocurrency of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. The petition created by Ken Takahashi in 2018 was signed by 14,110 supporters. This was occasioned with Ripple's flurry of collaboration, including its tie-up with MoneyTap. And MoneyTap could be absolutely huge. I was talking about that in another video, so I don't want to rehash everything, but Yoshitaka Kitao has stated publicly that they're looking to implement XRP in MoneyTap, which is quite fascinating to me, given that the app was intended primarily, at least as I understood it, to be used domestically. But that makes me think that they do have bigger plans. But, the payment rails, just outside of settlement, but the payment rails amongst banks inside of Japan prior to Ripple coming in, it was, talk about a train wreck. I can't remember all the specifics of it. I wasn't planning on talking about it off the top of my head. I can probably cover it at some point in a future video, but it was so bad that even though Xcurrent, it wasn't exactly envisioned as something that would be useful necessarily domestically, Xcurrent is actually used to facilitate payments inside of Japan because it's that much better. It's a fascinating solution, given that when you're talking about Xcurrent, you typically think about payment rails from one country to another, but no, it's actually used domestically. And so I don't say that domestically there's a reason, of course, to use XRP, but still fascinating nonetheless. And then once you've got Xcurrent implemented, and once there are more payment rails, you can imagine what that could do for the usage and ultimately, I would hope, price of XRP down the road. All right, let me go ahead and hop into the next piece here. This is actually a tweet from XRPatient, who is at patient_ZERRO on Twitter, and went ahead and tagged me along with some other XRP YouTubers. So I wanted to go ahead and share the comment. Thank you very much for tagging me, good sir. He wrote, "Last time it took 5 years of hodl for XRP to moon. Most of us have only held XRP for only 2 years. Good things come to those who hodl." And indeed, for me, I have had my XRP for just under 2 years. November, I'll have to check the date, but November something is my 2-year crypto anniversary. And man, I can't believe time has flown so much. What a crazy time to jump in right before XRP went up to, from when I bought it, about 20 cents, went all the way up to its all-time high of $3.92 according to Live Coin Watch. Different websites have different all-time high numbers, but whatever. That's the way they calculated it. And it's just funny to think that right when I entered, it went inside of a couple months from 20 cents to $3.92. I wish I had understood more about how markets work back then, but I have learned quite a bit. Now, I understand the concept that he's putting here. 5 years of pretty much nothing happening price-wise, and then huge spike. Got it. I don't make price predictions on this channel, but I would be very surprised if we had to wait, another 5 years to see something crazy happen in terms of price action. Because it's not down to XRP specifically, I understand. It's more like, when are we going to see, well, first of all, potentially an alt season? When's the next parabolic run-up going to be for Bitcoin? Because I still believe that many altcoins will follow in lockstep. This is not financial advice. No financial background here. But I do believe that that's going to happen because, well, the market's still figuring things out, and XRP is genuine utility, so it's going to be here for the long haul, I do believe, good sir. All right, here's a tweet from XRP Crypto Wolf, and states, "Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse will be a keynote speaker at the upcoming FinTech Week 2019 event on October 23rd, along with the SEC and CFTC chairman, FDIC chairman, FCA head of strategy, and director of the Financial Crime Enforcement Network. All these people are high-level high-level U.S. officials." And you can see right here, there's the picture, and you got good old Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO, listed as a keynote speaker. I'll probably speak more about this in a future video, but thank you very much, XRP Crypto Wolf, for sending this my way today. I do appreciate it. But I wanted to mention it real quick, and again, I'm sure I'll be covering it again soon in more detail in a future video. All right, last piece here. Backed Futures Warehouse with $125 million insurance policy goes live after years of anticipation. Backed had kept the crypto community's curiosity high as it prepared to introduce its Bitcoin futures contracts. To the community's delight, the company tweeted from its official Twitter account, quote, "The Backed warehouse is active for futures. Bitcoin deposited at our warehouse is protected by a $125 million insurance policy." And the piece continues, "As per Back's previous announcement, the entire crypto-centered business is regulated by the New York State Department of Financial Services, NYDFS, as a limited-purpose trust company, providing customers with a qualified custodian of Bitcoin. One of the main features of this offering is that, unlike other futures exchanges, Bakkt will be settling all balances in Bitcoin, and not just the fiat equivalent to the price of Bitcoin. As a result, this will enable investors to experience better price discovery and liquidity for Bitcoin. Absolutely. So think about what that does to supply and demand. Bitcoin, and for this purpose, Bitcoin has to actually be held, which it's out of circulation, and that's why I'm really looking forward to, as this asset class develops, seeing other futures contracts that are physically settled. I would assume at some point there would be an XRP one, and again, you know what that would do to supply and demand, not just speculation as a whole. That's good too, but it would affect supply and demand directly if physically settled. So I think that would bode well, long-term price-wise anyway. So we'll see. We'll see if I'm right, but I believe that will happen at some point. You just don't know how long. And then the piece continues. Moreover, Bakkt also allows users to make Bitcoin deposits and withdrawals, and will launch the Bakkt daily and monthly contracts launch on 23rd of September. Soon after its launch, Bakkt will create the first fully regulated marketplace specifically designed to meet the needs of institutional firms and their clients. The announcement was summed up by the company's COO, who said, quote, "It represents a milestone as we prepare for the launch of the Bakkt Bitcoin daily and monthly futures contracts on ICE Futures U.S. trusted infrastructure, particularly the regulated and secure custody of digital assets, is at the core of everything we do at Bakkt." So I think it's really cool stuff here. Good to see some positive things in the news and see infrastructure actually being built out. I know I keep saying it, but man, early days here. Seriously early days, but I couldn't be more excited. And I know, as XRP holders, we really wish that things were moving at a quicker pace, especially as it pertains to price action. But hey, it's one of those things where it's like, all good things in time. At least that's the way I see it. But you can tell me what you think below. Feel free to drop a comment. That's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!